to the question earlier as well, when they talk about Republicans and their success online, they have been successful because they have also been very clear, especially digitally, about what they believe, that women are inferior, that they do not deserve equal rights, that they believe that LGBTQ Americans are subhuman, that they believe and are circulating disgusting racial and white supremacist messaging that they are able to get away with digitally and online. And they are able to radicalize and target and exploit a generation of young boys, in particular, away from healthy masculinity and into an insecure masculinity that requires the domination of others who are poorer, browner, darker, or a different gender than them. And that is why they are resonating online, because they are appealing to the most basest and worst parts of human nature to divide us. And why to divide us? So that the same people who own those platforms, people like Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, Mark Zuckerberg, that these people can continue to get away with highway robbery in tax cuts and in order to fleece all of our pockets, cut our health care, keep our wages low so that we remain fighting amongst ourselves while they make themselves richer.
All right, so I'm gonna just stop it there. I think she was just throwing a bunch of stuff at the wall, especially towards the end, because I don't see what the relevance is or some of the stuff she was saying. But what she did say, I want to ask a question, and she said that Republicans are basically radicalizing men to hate women, to not necessarily care about the alphabet community, to be influenced in a negative way, so on and so forth. Do you guys think that the left, and I'll start with Carrie, and then we can open it up to anybody. Do you think that, I'm sorry, not the left, the right, the Republicans, do you think that Republicans are radicalizing young men to be extreme and to basically go back to a time where women didn't have many rights?
No, I don't think it's the Republicans. I do think that the red pill people are. I have to say that. But I don't think the Republicans are.
They are
I
what?
think I think wait, the red pill or the Republicans? What part of what I
Red
said
pill.
is
You
that?
said you think the red pill people are. What are they? Are what?
Yeah, like the extreme, the some of the, I guess, red pill extremists, or I don't know, maybe real red pill people, guys would say they're not real red pill. But sometimes when you hear some of the red pill people talk, it does seem so focused on being a man that it comes across as F women. So I like, that's just that. But the Republicans, no, I don't get that sense. I think it all looks like extremes because this whole LGBTQ transgender like liberal thing is so extreme. Like it's so far left that anything that's not that is going to be extreme. If you just want to be a heterosexual Christian, that's going to look extreme to somebody who wants to promote LGBTQ transgender purely because you don't agree with that way of life. If you just want your kids to be able to go to school and learn about math and science and, you know, English without all of the other agendas, you're going to automatically look like you are on the total opposite extreme from liberals. And because they seem to think that all of their positioning is correct, you therefore are radical and wrong.
Mm.
Because to me, at this point, like this is what I was talking to you guys about a long time ago when I said I feel like people who are in certain positions, elected positions, should not be able to display their opinion about people in leadership. Because to me, this far out from the election, why are we not collectively, the elected officials, focused on the people? And the fact that she's still up here, that people still are talking about the speaking points that were had during election now, like, come on. You're not going to change whatever Trump wants. Like, let's focus on the tasks at hand. Let's focus on what we can actually do now. You're still talking about they're raising taxes and Elon is doing this and Elon is doing that. Meanwhile, you got violence going on. You got people who are homeless. You have you know what I'm saying? Like, you have day-to-day issues that are happening. So no, I think that she's making stuff up.
Mm.
So
Anybody else?
AOC is a nut job, and she's trying to overcompensate for the fact that the Democratic Party does not have young boys, preferably young white boys. And they have moved over to the Republican Party at mass because usually young men and young people in general are usually Democrats, but they're not going that way. And that's because everything has been so extreme. So that's pretty much what she's upset about. She's calling it, a different type of masculinity, but it's the masculinity that's been there. And I'll give the young boys credit. They're noticing it. They're not like the other generations. They're noticing it and they're doing an overcorrection. So, I mean, that's pretty much what it is. And on top of everything else, she's, a misandrist and a Marxist, communist, whatever you want to call it. That's pretty much AOC. So that's my initial thoughts on it.
Anybody else?
I
I
think
agree
that
with
them.
Carrie. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I've been talking a lot tonight. Go ahead.
I just think the Democrats act like women that uh who act like they don't benefit off of patriarchy, but they actually do benefit off of patriarchy. And I think that the right just want order, restoration, not to socialism is different from the Democratic Party versus the Republican Party. So, you know, all of it is we need to balance out and make everybody wealthy or just as equal playing field. That's never gonna happen. Republicans know that. And like I said, women benefit off of patriarchy more, but you have women out here that think that they can do it on their own and that it's easier than being when you're married, you have no identity as a woman. Let's just start there. You are basically up under that man's program. And a lot of women that are in the right wing know that. But women in the left wing think that it's easier to not be married, not be under structure, not to be under a man. So they want this independency. And it's actually harder. Both sides are harder, but they think it, the right white ring, no. We know. So I don't know. I think it's stupid. And they think that it is a threat when it's actually protection.
Molly, what was you about to say?
I was gonna say I agree with everybody. I think the left has radicalized men so much to where uh, that side is fighting to have sex with other men, have sex with children. I think they have radicalized men to the point. I mean, like, look at society, look at these big democratic cities. I don't they're so bad, they're so negative, the crime is so bad. To me, that is them radicalizing men because they are going against the status quo, they're going against tradition, and to be upset because normal men want to stay normal and have a traditional life where nobody's telling them what manhood is or how it should look. I don't know. The left doesn't know what else to do except kind of like blame Republicans for the things that they're actually doing. So, if anybody has radicalized the men, it is these Democrats, it is the left, it's more zesty men than ever. That is radical. You know what I'm saying? And even as a woman, if I was dating, I would not want to procreate with most of these men. because their mindsets are messed up. They're extremely dependent on the government. They're gay. No, that's not what I would be looking for. And I don't like how they keep trying to redefine what manhood is. They gotta leave it alone.
Kim? You muted.
For the most part, I agree with what Carrie said in that whatever doesn't seem, like what you believe, what's mainstream, so to speak, seems like far-fetched and radical. And then she actually hit on what I was thinking about the whole red pill space. I think that in that same way, to a certain degree, Republicans have found their niche and they kind of know what to say to garner support. I just kind of think that this whole left-right thing is actually kind of ridiculous, and it's the new racism. It's just something else that we're putting out there to divide people, and it's just not that serious.
Slim?
I think what Kim said that's pretty much what I was gonna say. But I do think that woman is right. But on the other side, I think that feminists have been empowered by Democrats, extremely empowered. Like, fuck that radicalized shit. They are empowered. They've gone so far, and it's extreme as fuck. Just like I feel like now, these racist ass white dudes, I've been seeing a lot of videos of these motherfuckers, and one of them got his ass beat bad. Got his ass beat because he thought he was gonna put a BB gun in some black dude's face, and got his ass towed up just because he just felt like he shouldn't be teaching the Bible. So I think both parties they working in unison to separate us. I'm sorry. There is no, they using this as divisiveness. It's been going on since the beginning of time, since they started all this shit. The point of it is, if as long as they keep us divided, as long as they keep our minds focused on this shit here, we can never get together to communicate with each other about the real issues and
Who's
What do
what's
you
us?
really
mean? What
going
do you
Because
on.
mean divided? What do you mean by keep us divided?
So if you still focusing on Democrat and Republican, you can never really tackle the real issues that's going on and how the government is getting stronger, how we're more reliant on the government. We aren't doing anything to individualize ourselves in groups, and we are too focused on what the government is telling us, what the government is saying, too complicit. It's so much more that people could be doing to thwart the things that are happening. Like, it's getting bad, and eventually people gonna wake up, and I just think it's gonna be too late. It's
But
gonna be way
it's
too
been
late.
that.
Well,
And
it's getting worse because the first I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna prove to you how.
okay.
Because years ago, nobody in their right motherfucking mind would have cared about what your health issues were. I wouldn't have gave a fuck. But as soon as they started rolling out this shit for the jab, and everybody wanted to be on either side of that shit, you had people who was willing to tell on their neighbor. People who was willing to take money to tell on their neighbor about, oh, you didn't get this. You didn't do that. Huh? Like, what? They got you by the balls. If you feel like you gonna go tell on your neighbor because they chose not to put something in their body that the government said that they should, the government got you. They got you right where they want you. Because everybody should be like, hey, why the fuck y'all want us to have this? I'm doing fine over here. If somebody gets sick, well, we gonna go to old school remedies. We ain't about to take the same thing. It don't work like that.
but who was the
Nobody
Republican or
used, no,
Democrat Party?
everybody, wait, hold on. Everybody let logic go, and they were complicit. Everybody just completely let logic go and were completely complicit. And then it turns out Oh no, well that shit didn't work.
Well,
So
you
they
got
lied to everybody.
well,
Well,
yeah,
the
you got to
Democrats.
remember two things are going on. You got to remember one, America now, because of course, uh, we're allowed to do propaganda to our own people. So you have that, and then you also have the fact that America always uses fear, right? And so again, that's why they do these panic alarms, like they did with the Patriot Act, like they did with the NDAA, right? They did it with the jab. Got it. But you also have to remember too that it's neoliberalism, and with neoliberalism comes in all of that you're talking about. So
No, no, that ain't true.
that has nothing to do with right or left. Neoliberalism
No, that
has
all
people
that.
that are on the nope. Neoliberalism has people that are on the right and the left. Okay, Jimmy Carter did neoliberalism, and so did Ronald Reagan. Right, and it's just it's the actual ideology. So at the end of the day, it's not really about Democrat or Republican. But when you talk about the mindset, that's where that left right comes in, because on one side, that tends to that those ideas tend to be more liberal. These ideas tend to be more conservative.
No, it's all it.
And
No,
when
what
you
I'm about to say. What I'm about to say is it's all government. It's all government. The thing
no,
is, they reel
but
you
we're
in.
talking about
They
hold on. We're talking about the people. So when you talk about the people, you have to talk in the sense of liberal and liberal conservative, or somewhere in the middle, because those those ideas are going to foster what you're going to see those politicians try to push.
yeah. Well, however you look at it, they use it to divide you, and it's not gonna stop. And they're gonna keep winning with this shit sooner or later. Like right now, over in China, it's people that can't get food because they don't have a digital ID.
Because they're
They go.
communists.
The UK
And that's what
too,
they fighting for over here.
but the UK too. UK has the digital ID too.
There are
Yes, they
Christians
do.
in Nigeria getting bombed and getting killed because of their beliefs. So what's your point?
They're gonna start rolling that out here.
And so
Well,
And the
that has to
thing.
do with left and
Wait,
right,
wait,
though.
wait.
Right.
Are you gonna listen, or you gonna listen? The thing is though, if you're complicit about a fucking vaccination, you definitely gonna be complicit when they tell you, hey, you can't go over here unless you got this.
Well,
Like
everybody didn't get the vaccine. I never got a
Right.
shot.
Fact.
Right.
I certainly
Facts.
wouldn't.
he
I
sent
certainly wouldn't. But
it.
what I'm saying is, once they start restricting you and you start seeing those restrictions, you people are going to be complicit. And then they're going to start doing what I was just talking about. Hey, he ain't got this. He ain't got that. He ain't do this. He ain't do that.
Right,
Well,
but
And then
maybe
you're going to have no. There ain't no justifying this shit.
Sonny, if
I'm
people are
sorry.
it's
not
human
reporting
There ain't
nature,
no
crime,
Slimmy.
justifying this
That's
shit.
called
Sonny,
human
if
nature.
That's
people are
not
not
human
reporting
nature.
crime,
That's
if
not
people are
human
not
nature.
reporting
It's
crime,
not
they're not
human
going to
nature.
report anybody that has a shot or not, or doesn't have a digital ID or not. People are barely reporting people for doing the things they're doing now. They're not going to
That's
report
why
them.
They
I
will
literally
because
just said. It was unheard of. You wouldn't have heard nothing about this. Nobody would have been telling no about somebody not getting a vaccination. You had whole people going crazy because you wouldn't get a vaccination. This is unheard of. This would have never happened. Well, my point is, people are becoming more and more complicit to what the government says.
no, but they've been complicit, and that's why I
No,
brought up the neoliberalism, because they've been complicit. That's how the government was able to predict what they would be able to do, because
no. The government was
no, they weren't
testing with.
testing. They
They
absolutely
were
already knew.
absolutely testing
They
because they ain't never
absolutely
did no
already
shit where
knew.
you got to stand 6 feet away from somebody
No,
before.
but they
They ain't
already
never
knew.
pulled no
No,
shit
no,
like
they
that.
already knew
They
you
was
would
trying to
do it.
see how long it was going to
This
last.
is
Slimmy,
to
they
get
already knew
you.
you would
This,
do it. You know
Wait,
why? Not you personally,
this
but
is
you.
to get you conditioned to think that this shit is okay.
Slimmy, they
This is
already knew that you
conditioning.
would
They ain't
do it.
never did that before.
Everybody
Slimmy,
in
let,
my
let me
list
tell
you.
you why. They already knew that you would do it because it starts small. Okay. When you give up this for that, this for this for that, they know all they got to do is just keep going. So they already know you will do it.
No, they don't know. They
Yeah.
are testing the waters. They
Most
are
people, when 9/11
assuming
happened,
no. They don't
We are
know
Human Rat
until
Project.
they don't know until it actually takes
when
place.
9/11
That's why
happened, most people were okay with what was happening with the Patriot Act. Most were okay with TSA. Most were okay with this is actually when they started going on with the digital ID. This has been a thing in the making for the last 20 something years.
I
So
already talked about this.
so
I
what I'm
already
saying
told
is
y'all about
they
this.
already know you're going to do it. They
I
already
said
know.
this is when it first started. That's the first time I seen something that extreme.
Yeah, that's the first
I
time
said that
that
what
you've
about 3
seen
weeks
something.
ago,
But
a
what I'm
month
saying,
ago?
it's been going on for the last 60 to 70 years. It's
No, but what
already a
I'm saying
condition.
is people are becoming more and more complicit. Like this is beyond what I've seen before. Way beyond. I've never seen it this bad.
Yeah, that's because okay, it's like the people that vote, right? This is just an example. My mama voted Democrat, and so I vote Democrat. My kids gonna vote Democrat. You get what I'm saying? It's the same way. It's the same way with income tax. I tell people all the time that income tax is actually illegal, but they've never seen a country without income tax.